Hey, what's going on? I'm jumping into an amazing call with my buddy Mark Amons, and we're talking about LPT and all things agent choice. We're hearing so much from all different aspects of the business, from all different realms, right? Individual agents, teams, brokers. As we're talking with agents all across the country, we are hearing that agent choice is really what's driving. So we're going to break down some of the highlights of what that means, why agent choice is sweeping the nation, and why LPT is the fastest growing brokerage in U.S. history. So let's jump right in with my buddy Mark and I kind of breaking that down from our perspective and what we're hearing all across the country.
Isaac, glad to be back with you.
Absolutely, man. It's a pleasure.
Well, hey, so I think this is going to be a fun video topic. Like you said, agent choice. I know you're hearing it. I'm hearing it when I'm talking to agents and they're reaching out to me from any brokerage, no matter where they're at, whether they're new agents that just got licensed and they're exploring all the different options when they kind of get overwhelmed with all the different options, or whether they're at a brokerage that they've been at for a while and they hit a point in their career where for some reason it seems like the brokerage just isn't aligned with where they're going anymore. And so looks like they're trying to find a new path. And I think that's one of the cool things that LPT has, right? Is what you were talking about is agent choice. I mean, you want to kind of jump in and kind of say what you're hearing too. I mean, and that's what I've heard from a lot of agents is like, hey, this was a great brokerage for the last 5 years, but now I'm here and it's really not supporting where I'm trying to go. Are you seeing that too?
Yeah, 100%. And here's the thing. I think it's actually become the norm to go, I start at this brokerage and then I move to this kind of brokerage and then I end up at this kind of brokerage. And then like, if I want to start a team, maybe I'll go to this kind of brokerage. And what's weird is, yeah, that's the norm, but it's not the preference, if that makes any sense. Like everyone wishes there was a better way. This is what I'm hearing is a lot of people are saying, well, I'm following this kind of path, right? And by the way, I followed the exact path that everyone's thinking about. I went to a heavy training organization, right? Then I went to a cloud-based brokerage with revenue share and a cap and all these other things. And what we found is, although it's the norm because that's the way real estate has been done, right? Like everything is becoming this kind of follow the leader path, whereas LPT is solving that. And this is what I'm hearing a lot of is people going, here, it's solving this problem for me. What's wild is whether it's a brand new agent, somebody who's really building a big enterprise level team, all of them kind of come to the same conclusion, which is, hey, this is built for me. And so it's really interesting to see all these different levels of production and levels of engagement and interest and different problems that are arising in their business, whether it's, oh, the brand, how about this one? This is one I'm hearing a lot actually right now. Just kind of popped up, but it's a real conversation I was having as recently as this morning. My current brokerage is not luxury enough. Right? And they see what LPT is doing on the luxury side and they go, that makes a lot of sense. That's another one I'm hearing too. Is like, it doesn't fit where I'm at in my business. And then it doesn't fit the branding that I'm looking to go to. I really want to increase my price point. I already work at a high price point and I want to be able to really, stand in my place there. And my current brand, my current brokerage kind of gets in the way of that.
Right. Yeah, I've heard some similar stuff, and I think a lot of it goes back to things are still done in the real estate industry, even though we have all these cloud-based brokerages, similar to the way they were done when it was just brick and mortar. And with the franchise model, it's really hard to build a model that is going to work for everybody because, frankly, you just have limited resources. It's hard enough for a lot of the brick and mortar brokers to stay profitable as is, and when you are talking things about like investing into a brand new luxury branch and a lot of the different options that some of the cloud-based brokerages are able to offer, it's just not really in the resources of traditional brokerages to be able to do that, because if you've got 5 Remax or Keller Williams branches, in your city, they're different franchisees. And so the economy of scale just really wasn't there. And so that was one of the things I think the cloud-based brokerages solved in general, was being able to have resources that on the national level can be available to any agent that's with you, regardless of what state, what city, or any of that. And so I think what we're seeing now, though, is the cloud-based brokerages, while they did a handful of things that did that, they really didn't maximize the potential. And I think that's what we're seeing now with more of them, particularly with LPT, is really embracing this fact that we have these economies of scale. there's a lot out there. We have a lot of purchasing power. We have the ability to bundle a lot of stuff. We have the ability to save agents money here and give them more value there by kind of combining, all the agents that we have across the country. So I think that's what we're seeing is these brokerages starting to wake up to that. And LPT seems like it's really kind of leading the way in that agent choice of, rather than just kind of defining yourself by one thing, how can you offer something to everyone at all different points of their career, whether they're newly licensed 2 days ago or whether they've got, a team or an independent broker just doing 1,500 transactions a year. How do you make a brokerage where there's a place for everyone there? And so I think that's what we're seeing, at least what I'm seeing at LPT, is the ability for anyone in any part of their journey to find a home and have the tools, resources, training that's going to be required to take it to that next level.
Yeah, absolutely. Like taking it to the next level is what it's all really about. And what's cool is it doesn't really matter what that level is, right? It could be, hey, I'm trying to sell my first 15 homes, or hey, I'm trying to expand to my 15th location, right? Either way, those services or the opportunity is there, and LPT is helping facilitate that. One of the interesting, like very specific things that just came up recently was LPT Plus, right? The benefits. And what's wild, somebody pointed out to me, like a buddy I'm bringing over, he pointed out to me, he goes, what's interesting is like every other brokerage model, the monthly fee hits the P&L as like revenue, right? And then they go, okay, well, we got to justify it somehow. And yeah, some of it gets funneled out to these other things, whether it's technology or whatever. But he was like, what you can tell with LPT Plus is there's no way the company's seeing that as revenue. $89 a month for Real Scout, AM car, like all these things, Zoodelia, I already pay over $100 a month for that. So this is not a profit center. It's not a revenue play. It's a collective bargaining play where they can go and say, hey, look at this, $89 buys you all this stuff, but we don't need it to survive. And I think if you think about that from a structural standpoint, right, that makes a ton of sense to be able to do that. And the other thing is this, when it comes to why the brokerages, traditional brick and mortar or cloud-based, don't really meet the needs of the agent, is because the needs of the agent is not necessarily an office. It's not necessarily this back-end suite where I can manage my transactions. Like those things are important. They help us run our businesses. But think about it this way. Every brokerage up until LPT, from what I can tell, maybe I'm wrong, but from my research and with my experiences, every brokerage started off with one clear mindset. Provide brokerage services to agents for a fee. LPT did not start that way. LPT said, get the best marketing possible into the hands of agents for a fee. And so to me, it just speaks volumes. Over there, they're going to provide brokerage services and they're probably going to be okay at it, just like any other brick and mortar or cloud would be. Over here, the goal is we created a brokerage with the intent of not providing brokerage services, but providing marketing materials. And let's be real. I don't care how awesome your broker is. I don't care how amazing your back-end software solution is or how beautifully decorated your office is. If you can't get business, you're out of business. So to me, I'm like, LPT just nails that. Nobody else can even hold a candle to that value proposition, especially in today's market where, let's be real, it used to be 6.5 million sales a year. Now we're trending under 4 million a year. Like I'm sorry, I don't care how beautiful the fountain is in your office. I need help with my marketing. I need more business. I need the opportunity to build my brand. And that's what LPT is doing for me. And that's what I'm hearing on the street too. That everyone just gets it. One of the smartest people I know in business, he was like, when we announced that he's making the move over, which will be great, I would imagine someone asked me, they go, how'd you get him? Because like one other person found out, like, how'd you get him? I'm like, that guy's too smart to be sold. He saw the model, it made sense, and I'm lucky enough that I was there and that I know him. That's really it, because the model just makes a lot of sense.
Well, one of the things, too, that I think LPT has done right, and is exactly what you were talking about, is instead of just focusing on brokerage services, they focused on helping the agent. But the way they help the agent is by giving them the things that the consumer cares about. Because most of the tools and resources that you see that brokerages offer are things that the agents care about. but there's very, very little that I see offered that the consumer cares about. And what the consumer cares about is, how are you going to market my house to sell it as quickly as possible and for the most amount of money? And from what I've seen, LPT is one of the few brokerages that's providing things directly to the agents that the consumer actually cares about. And so I think that's where a lot of the value is really coming in, and that's going to be the differentiating factor, is who can provide the most value to the consumer, especially as we're going to this shifting market where, things in the next couple of months, things are going to be different. I mean, anyone who thinks that's not the case, the market's going to be different when the settlement is officially put into place. It's going to be a different market. And so the agents who's going to win are going to be the best marketers and the agents who can provide the most value to the consumers and get the consumer to sign off and say, hey, I see the value that you're providing and that's worth X to me. And so the more value that you can show, the more value that you're going to be able to get in return from the consumer that you're actually, that's your client. The agent is kind of the brokerage client, but the consumer is the only one who pays the bills for us. And so if we're not giving them the most value, there's really none of us have a job. So I think that's one of the amazing things. Let's start real quick. And for people who aren't aware, just kind of running through some of the agent choice and some of the things that make LPT different, because you hear the term tossed around a lot. For me, it really starts with when you join the brokerage. And so for an agent who's looking to join the brokerage, immediately you've got two choices, which is which compensation plan is going to be best for you. And if you're not familiar, we've got the two compensation plans. We have the business builder, which is a $500 flat fee with a $5,000 cap. You do 10 transactions and you have capped. You got a $195 transaction fee on every deal, regardless of which plan you're on. Then you've also got the 80/20 brokerage partner that, it's an 80/20 split with a $15,000 cap. But the big benefits there is, hey, if you want to earn a little bit more stock on your transactions, you've got the ability to do that. If you want to start a team, you've got the ability to do that. If you're into commercial and you want a lower risk management fee, you've got the ability to do that. If you're going to join LPT Plus and you want a lower monthly fee, it's going to give you the option to do that. So there's plenty of reasons why you might want to be on both. But that's huge for a lot of people. And the fact that, yes, we now have an optional monthly fee if you want to upgrade to the LPT Plus, we're always going to have the option to join LPT Realty as a business builder, have a $5,000 cap with no monthly fee, no technology fee, and you're not getting your credit card dinged every single month, because that's an important thing too. A lot of people I work with, not everyone's a full-time agent. Not everyone is selling real estate 12 months out of the year. And there's nothing that stings more when you see that credit card charge go through for, $150 a month. And you're going, I didn't even pick up the phone and talk to anybody this month, and I'm getting dinged just for the privilege of having my license somewhere where I got no value from the brokerage. I didn't give them any, what did I cost them at the end of the day? And so I think just having that option for someone that's like, hey, I've got my license. I don't really even know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I want to put it into a brokerage. I want to start surrounding myself with agents who are selling. And maybe in 6 months when I have some more time, or as I transition, I'm going to start doing that and not having to pay, $500, $600, $700 in the meantime in monthly fees just to be at that brokerage. So that's a huge one that I see initially. But then from there, again, just the ability to make choices about, do you want to be a part of the luxury preferred network and upgrade your sphere even more? Do you want to just put your listings into the luxury collection and not have to join, a specific luxury brokerage? Because, hey, guess what? My normal price point's $550, but guess I nailed this $1.2 million. It's a luxury listing, and I want to give that seller the best marketing I possibly can. But I'm not a luxury agent. But hey, I've got these amazing, at the click of a button, tools and resources that are there to sell luxury. I can put this on a billboard. I can do cross-market marketing on this and really earn the commission that I'm trying to get. But hey, maybe that's only once a year, and I don't need to join, a specific brokerage to do that. So those are the kind of options that I'm seeing that are important to agents. What else are you seeing in terms of some of the choices that, the sticking points that having that agent choice is kind of the solution?
Yeah, I think the tech stack is the only other thing I'd point out is, okay, well, what do I want to do? Do I want to keep my fees low? Okay, great. I'll use the Enterprise Edition, or my fees at zero. I'll use the Enterprise Edition of Lofty and be able to use it as is. No monthly fee for that. Awesome. But hey, you know what? I want to be able to customize this thing and build up my own pipelines and have my own statuses and stages. Great. Let me upgrade to $49 a month, which is a fraction of the price I'd pay out on the open market. Oh, and by the way, no, I've actually always used FUB, so let me use that. Or I've used KV Core in the past because my previous brokerage had it, and let me use it now. I want to transfer all that over. Fantastic. You have the choices to be able to do all of that with all those 3 different CRMs and different versions of it, even the team option. So that to me is huge because when you start seeing, do I have the option? You really don't have an option not to have a CRM, but the option becomes which CRM and at what level of customization do I want it? And that's awesome that I get to choose that. And the other thing I'll also point out though is there's one part where you don't have an option, which is revenue share. And here's what I mean by that. You have the option to like participate and earn revenue share or not. That's awesome because a lot of people don't care about it. And even people that care about it don't necessarily put the time in to reap the benefits. So they shouldn't necessarily have to pay for it until that point. But here's the interesting thing is that revenue share goes both ways. There's not just opportunity for me to earn revenue share. Where I've always made the most amount of money is actually learning from the people above me who care about revenue share. So even if I'm a business builder and I don't care about earning revenue share, the fact that the person that brought me in, Mark brought me in, and so now because revenue share exists, simply by it existing, not by me paying into the system or by me being a participant and receiving it, but the fact that it exists now incentivizes a person like Mark to open his playbook, pour into me, give me additional resources. So that's the one area where I'm like, that's beautiful too. And I think some people kind of lose sight of that when they recognize like, oh, I'm not going to be participating in rev share, therefore rev share is not awesome. Never participate in earning it. That's great. You'll earn more money if the person above you that brought you in is willing to open their playbook and take you from 5 transactions to 15 to 30, right? By opening their playbook because they care about rev share. So that's a beautiful part of it too, is like whether you like it or not, you're going to benefit from rev share.
Benefiting from that, and like we talk about too, we're all building the same stock as well, and so there's a lot of mutual interest in everyone at the company helping everyone else at the company because we're mutually incentivized to do so. So I think that's awesome. There's even small choices that we don't talk about very much, which is how certain kinds of deals are handled. We get core transactions and we get stock awarded on certain deals, and when we first started, it was a little bit more kind of chopped up in terms of, well, this kind of deal counts for this and it doesn't count for this, and so now they've got the option. You decide how you want these deals to count. You go in and you opt in and say, hey, when I sell a deal that's under this amount, I want to pay the least amount of money possible, take the least amount of money from me. I want to keep it. Or, hey, I want to pay my full split because I want to get performance awards. I want to get stock and all that. And rather than telling you as the agent, no, we're going to force you to take the stock awards and we're going to pay you less, or you get to keep, however that works. Just giving agents those options gives them more power, more control. And at the end of the day, just really allows you to customize the business and kind of, one thing we've been talking about as well is you don't work for LPT Realty. You're building a business inside of LPT, right? We're all building a business inside of a business. The business that you're building is a partner of LPT Realty, but you're building your own business. I'm building my own business inside of this other business. And so I think when we don't lose track of that, the more options that we have on how we run our individual businesses, because we have more flexibility from the business platform that we're running it inside of, that's a win for everybody almost always.
Well, and you got to think about it this way too. How insane is it that it took this long for this kind of model to exist? Because think about it this way. You go ask the best listing agents out there in the world, and you go, what makes you different? And most of the time, here's what they're going to tell you. I provide more options, more choices for my sellers. I don't just come with a one-size-fits-all approach marketing plan. If they want a cash offer, I can get them a cash offer. If they want to renovate their house before selling it using other people's money, I've got that option too. If they want to buy before they sell, if they want to guarantee it 100% of your asking price or we'll pay you the difference. I want to be able to provide all those options. And by the way, not every option is the right fit for every person, but let's see what's true for you, right? Those are the things that matter. And so it's interesting that at the agent working direct to consumer level, we've understood that for quite some time. And it's wild to think about LPT is the first one to give that same flexibility, optionality, choice to agents. And what actually loosed that in my brain was you talking about like your ability to pick like how this transaction counts and how the compensation works on a given one, is because here's what that really shows me. They really are here to do what's right for the agent, as opposed to, hey, this is the policy and we need to make this much money on this transaction or whatever it might be. Because they know if I give the agent the choice to do the right thing, eventually they'll figure out how to really win at the highest level, right? And so helping an agent make the right call on a small transaction where they go, I need the minimum amount of fees. I won't count it as a core transaction. I don't need the stock issuance. I really just need this to happen. Think about it. It's smart, because then that person is grateful to the brokerage. They're excited to be here. They're not complaining or griping or doing anything. And then as they start ramping up their business, right, then those issues kind of slide away, and the company ends up getting paid anyways. And it's really a testament to, if you help enough people get what they want to get in life, you eventually get what you want. And like, they're not just saying that. That's not just a writing on the wall. They're literally putting the entire operation up against that, right? I'm going to say, I'm just going to help you get what you need, and it'll come back around. And by the way, it's already coming back around, right? 12,000 agents in just over 2 years. It's ridiculous.
Well, the thing too, and I think one of the biggest differences that we're seeing as well as a brokerage is low attrition. And that's coming from what we're talking about. The agent choice, I think, is the thing that's driving that, because, I don't know about you, but a decision that was the right decision for my business 12 months ago, that same decision today might not be the right decision. I may very well be at a different spot. And I would argue that if a decision that was the right decision for your business 3 years ago is the same one today, you're probably not growing enough in general. And so, that's almost kind of a required part, that like the right decision today is not going to be the right decision tomorrow, and the right platform and the right fee structure and all of that is going to change over time. But if you're in a one size fits all solution, you don't have the option. So then the only option becomes find somewhere else that also has a one fit solution, but that has a one size fits all solution that's good for you today. And so this whole brokerage for life concept of giving you the choices to evolve in the business as your business evolves, I think is really cool. And that's what I think long-term going to lead to LPT being very successful from an overall agent count. Is it's very expensive to lose an agent, and it's expensive to gain an agent. It's expensive to onboard, it's expensive to offboard, right? But if you can keep agents, and you can, the other thing too I see, even on the rev share side, is you get caught in the kind of the shiny object syndrome, and you chase this for a year and you have some success. But then you drop ties, you go somewhere else, you chase that for a year, you see some success, and you keep bouncing around to where you think has the most opportunity, because it's really like, if that's the only reason you're going there, there's nothing else for you, then you're just going to keep chasing the shiny object, rather than finding a place that will work for you for the long run to allow you to actually stay, so that the individual successes that you've gained, year by year by year, now become cumulative, and you don't give it up every year. So, I think that's where agents are really starting to see a lot of the magic happen, is even, just a little over 2 years in, we've got, a lot of loyalty, high retention, because people don't have to move to get new tools, new resources, and changes their business changes. So I love it, man. Agent choice is the word of the day. I mean, that's what I'm hearing over and over again, is just give me more choices. Let me change my mind and change my business as I'm evolving and figuring this thing out. Cause we don't know, what's going to be the right thing for us, in 5 years today. We'll figure that out later. And if we have the options to change what we're doing, change how we're doing business within this business that we're building it in, it's far more likely, I think, that we're successful.
100%. And I think at the highest possible level, that's what Robert, the founder, understands. He understands businesses, right? He's not just some dude in some ivory tower. He knows what it looks like to run a business. He's masterminding with us constantly on what that looks like. And in addition to that, I think what's really important is, as the industry, again, is going to be reshaped over the next few months even, the ability to adjust and adapt, right? So we're talking marketing packets with buyer representation agreements in it, and that whole entire workflow and all those things. Here's what that showed me was, where the team, LPT team, they're sitting over there thinking, how is this going to impact my agents? How are we going to help them win when this happens? Versus playing defense, they're out there playing offense. They're figuring out, they're solving things.
Robert talks a lot about the unfair advantage, and that's what I see us kind of getting, is a lot of the unfair advantage, where we already have so much of the infrastructure in place, whether it's owning our own print shop, having the technology behind all of this stuff, to where we're not relying on third-party vendors that may not even understand the concept of what we're trying to do or be able to turn it around in enough time. When you have the coder at the helm who knows how to make all this happen and has a team behind them that can turn the stuff around on a dime, adaptability, right? Fast is the new big. And brokerages that can move fast, have a huge advantage over those that are just big, because that's like trying to turn a giant ship when it's barely moving. You got too much momentum. You can't steer that thing, and so I think that's a really big advantage we got too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and to that point, there's something unique that happened, right? Lots of growth pre-IPO. That's important. And I don't think I really appreciated that until very recently, which is when you IPO, you are now a publicly traded company. You have responsibilities to the shareholders and all these things. And so it can slow things down a little bit, right? We see a lot of our competitors that have been public for a long time. It's like if they wanted to make a change, good luck. Right. So what's crazy about LPT and how fast it's growing is it's reaching critical numbers, really big numbers that bring up big problems that need to be solved. But since we're privately held at the moment, those problems are easy to solve because we have the owner being able to make a decision pretty much unilaterally to solve problems without going, oh, what are the shareholders going to say? Right? How's the stock market going to react to that? And so I think there's so many good and positives about going public and being and all the opportunity that we have there once it happens. But there is an advantage to being rapidly growing, expanding across the country while still being privately held. And I think that's ultimately like part of the DNA of the company is right there in that ability to give agents choices and make the choice and make changes and adjust based on what the agents need.
Spot on, man. Yeah, Isaac, I think that you absolutely nailed that. I think that's spot on. I think that's a great place to leave it, right there. Honestly, I mean, it's just, again, just focusing on, hey, look, as if you're an agent that feels like the brokerage that you're at right now was working for you for a while, but there's this friction and it's just not right now. And there's something that you're looking for that's different. Reach out to Isaac, have a conversation. Isaac has experiences at so many of these different brokerages. He can speak inside about what they really are like. And look, at the end of the day, the problem you have, LPT, maybe they can't solve it, but you can at least get a fair and honest opinion about whether or not the issues that you have, we can solve. And if we can't, we'll point you in the right direction of who can. But start off, have a phone conversation, reach out to Isaac, let him know what you're looking for, what your business looks like, where you're trying to go, where you feel stuck, and let's troubleshoot that. And if we need to hop on a 3-way call, would love to do it, love to connect with you and find the right fit for you and something that's going to be adaptable and give you choices as your business grows. So Isaac, thanks so much for jumping on, man. Any parting words before we go?
No, I'm just excited to continue to see LPT grow, partner up with more people, man. And I'm just really grateful for you for introducing a lot of us to the platform and giving us the opportunity to really win big in real estate on our terms.
But man, well, Isaac, thanks so much. Hey, everybody, thanks so much for joining us. We will be back here again, bringing more value, more information about LPT and the real estate industry in general, helping you grow your business. So thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
So there you have it. We broke it down for you. And if you're ever curious how Mark and I assist with people as they're navigating the LPT journey and growing their businesses, feel encouraged. What you're going to do is you're going to go to the description below. There's a link where you can book one-on-one time with me to learn more. Because if you believe that finding a brokerage that actually fits your needs and will continue to fit your needs as your business evolves, you look no further. It's LPT, and I'd love to partner with you and show you all the things we do with our partners to help them really scale it. So until next time, happy selling. I'll see you soon.